Good evening, everyone. My name is Maurya Hanspal, and in this session, we're going to talk further about financial literacy. So, why I have been keeping a large number of sessions on financial literacy? So, the main logic stands behind is financial literacy is something which is common for all the fields, and it is not mandatory that a person who is into the field of finance and wants to make a career into the fields of finance wants to have financial literacy. Financial literacy is common for everyone, and that is why we have been emphasizing on these sessions for a past number of times. So, going further in financial literacy, talking about the pure concept of investments in today's session. A large number of people avoid investing. They are far away from this concept of investing or the ideology of investing, and they still consider financial markets as gambling or stock markets as gambling. But we can see this purview or this mentality, the greater proportion of people who have this mentality are those who have gone to the old age. That is maybe the Gen Y people who are like basically born like before 1983 and all, right? So these people considered that stock market is a gamble and you would not earn a return in the stock market. Sometime you might prove to be lucky. At that point, you can earn substantial returns. But a certain point will come that gambling and all those tricks won't work, and all the wealth that you have accumulated will be zero or into negative. They call stock market as greedy. Like the greedy people invest in stock markets for the purpose of earning more money, for the purpose of having a better lifestyle just for a temporary basis. They said going to a stock market or investing in the stock market is similar as gambling in the casino. Because obviously, if we have put in like 2000 rupees in a casino, right, and we won it, and our like the ball rotates and like it comes on the right circle, that 2000 rupees can become 20,000 rupees. Again, when we see that those 2000 rupees have given us 10x returns and have become 20,000 rupees. So people in the gambling circle would again invest that 20,000 rupees to make it into 10x. Again, that person proves to be lucky. Again, that person proves to be lucky, and that 20,000 rupees amount it turns into 2 lakh rupees. Again, that person invests 2 lakh rupees in the stock market, not in the stock market, in the gambling. Sorry. Again, that 2 lakh rupees gives him a 10x return. That is the 20 lakh rupees ho jate hain. Okay. But again, if he invests this 20 lakh rupees, there is no guarantee that those 20 lakh rupees will become 2 crores, right? Because in gambling, if you have used your money, you gain, it's fine. But if you do not gain, it turns out to be zero, straightforward. You have no chances to save your money. At least put something like a stop loss, or matlab ki, like we'll be talking about stop loss for all of those who are new. Or like we cannot even wait to avoid or minimize our loss in the case of a gambling. But in case of a stock market, just in case if the market is coming down, or we have committed a mistake to invest into the wrong shares or the shares which do not have any fundamentals, at least we can book some profit, or at least we can minimize our loss by booking lesser losses. For example, if I invested 2 lakhs in the stock market and that investment turns out to be wrong and the stocks weren't fundamentally strong, and the stocks were like completely bad, that 2 lakh amount, it won't come down to like zero at once. First, it will go to like 1,99,000, 1,99,999, then 1,99,998, then 1,50,000, 1,40,000. The market will go down in such a way. But in case of a gambling, like when you are using your money in a casino to earn short-term wealth, that 2 lakh rupees, if you erode or that you lose that 2 lakh rupees, that would straightforward turn down to zero. So in case of a stock market, at least 20,000 का लॉस हो रहा है, 30,000 का लॉस हो रहा है, बट इन अ कसिनो जीरो, सब कुछ खत्म, पूरा 2 लाख का लॉस हो गया. So I am not saying you enter stock market just for the purpose of minimizing your losses, as compared to losing the entire sum of money in gambling if the luck is against you. I'm saying you to invest in stock market just for a purpose of fruitful return, for the purpose of long-term investing. Because over the long term, if you choose companies which are fundamentally strong, And if you do not understand the stock market, or if you do not understand the companies as well, that is like which company to invest in, directly invest in large cap companies, because these companies are the strongest companies, and these companies at least would give you a return, a stable return in future. I'm not guaranteeing that these companies would give you extraordinary returns or excessive returns, because when you are investing in large cap companies, you are not taking excessive risk. And the basic rule of stock market is, or finance is, higher the risk, higher the expected return. And why expected return and not just return? Because the return is future. You are expecting that return and you do not know the exact amount that would come in. Even the large cap companies can also give you a loss, but in the long term, they won't, because those are strong, mature companies, strong fundamentally companies. Or directly, you people can invest into a Nifty index fund or a Sensex fund. And that in Nifty 50, you have the top most 50 companies, the top most market capitalization companies of India. Same with Sensex 30, like where we have 30 companies. Nifty, or the market index over the year, has given an average return of 15%, which is not bad, which is far better than your saving account or fixed deposit returns. At least you are here to beat inflation, right? So if you are investing into an index fund, maybe, which cannot outperform the market, because index fund, if the market has given you an average return of 15%, the index fund will try to give you or match at least 15, not at least, up to, or at most, or the highest point, or the highest return that these funds will try to give you would be 15%. Because the main purpose of these index funds or these passive funds is to like mirror the index. But in reality, the return won't be exactly like 15%, because obviously there are some expenses involved, which we call it as expense ratio, some marketing expenses, some fund handling charges. So maybe if the market is giving you like 15 returns on an average basis, the fund might give you 14.98% or 14.90%. But again, you have to look for the expense ratios. Since you are investing into an index fund or a passive fund, and that does not involve the expertise of a fund manager, because he's just like putting in the stocks and mirroring the index only. So no excessive expertise is involved, except the units, or like how much money to put in, right? So he should not charge you more than 1%, or it should be like below like 0.5%, because it's an index fund. So try to minimize your expense ratio in these kinds of mutual funds, and you will earn at least 14.98 or 14.80 bhi kama rahe ho, it's completely fine, because at least we're trying to beat inflation. And now people start to argue that instead of investing into stock market, see, you can invest in stock market and pick up like individual stocks if you have time and knowledge of stock market. You can, because not everyone has time to pick up these stocks and track the market whole time. And like they would have time only if they are like involved into this job of like portfolio manager and all those stuff. Whereas not everyone is a portfolio manager, not everyone is a mutual fund manager, everyone is doing different kinds of jobs. So it is very difficult for everyone to track all the stocks 24/7, like like sitting on the computer, seeing the charts and checking the fundamentals. Still people have knowledge about these things, still they cannot take out time, because they're into some other fields and some other jobs, and they're not like completely into this field and like creating a portfolio or providing the services of portfolio to their clients, right? So that case, that's why the reason is people invest in mutual funds, right? And again, to be safe, because the active funds like which try to beat the index, like for example, if the market index is giving you an average return of 15%, so these active funds will try to beat the index and try to give you an average return of at least more than 15%, right? But again, people are fearful there. Just in case the fund manager or the fund, he or she doesn't give you the more return as per the index. So that's why the people invest in index funds. So market jitni badegi, index fund bhi utna badega. Market jitni giregi, index fund bhi girega. But over the long term period, the market has risen always, and it will continue to rise, as we see the historical trend as well. So that is one thing you need to know. Whereas the active funds जो होते हैं, who try to beat the index, the main thing is, if the market is rising, they are rising like more than index, it's completely fine. But it can also happen that the Nifty and Sensex is rising, but these funds are falling. Then it's completely bad. Because so active funds can do anything, right? And over the time period, history has also shown that a few amount of active funds have only been outperformed the passive funds, around like 48 to 47% over the previous year. Even this ratio is not more than 50%. And even if they outperform these index funds or passive funds, the percentage by which they outperform is not very huge. It might be max to max 1% or 1.5%. So that doesn't make a difference if you are well diversified and if you are saving as well. Okay, so that won't create a difference. Okay, so it is better if you have no understanding, try to go for index funds. And if you want to take more risk, go for the active strategies. But why go for stock market? Because obviously, see, the first most reason is when you are like keeping your money in the saving account. As I said here, it is bad to just save money. It is bad to just save money. And why it is bad to just save money? Because if you are just saving money, like for example, out of your 20,000 rupees ki salary per month, you save 2,000 rupees per month. So saving that 2,000 rupees is not a big deal. Investing it into into the stock market is a big deal, because the value of 2,000 rupees will get eroded over time because of inflation. And inflation is nothing but the increase in the purchasing price of the commodities or the reduction in your purchasing power. Oil, it costed you at some point of time 50 rupees per liter, but now it is more than 90 rupees per liter. And people are expecting that over in subsequent time, if these Russia crisis and Ukraine crisis and all these supply chain constraints continue to be there in future, the price can even cross 100 rupees per liter. Okay, so that is inflation. The prices are rising, and that 2,000 rupees won't give you anything after 2 years, 5 years, or even 6 months from that time. And even if you are keeping it in the bank account, you will just earn 3 to 4%, max to max 4%. The rate of inflation currently in India is around 6.4% or 6%. Average, it goes around to 6%. RBI says like 4% plus 2 minus 2. That is, it can range between 2 and 6%. So even if you take 6% as a conservative measure, or as a highly measure, as like whatever you say, 4% you are gaining, minus 6% you are losing. 2% you are losing in return. 4 minus 6. But people count it as 6 minus 4, and that is financial illiteracy. You are investing and you are earning 4%. 4% मिला. 100 रुपए invest करे, you earn like 104 rupees. But 6 rupees is going now, like because of inflation. You are just earning 98. That is, you are losing 4 rupees. Right? And similarly, if you are investing into a fixed deposit as well. Here I say that FDs are not always bad. Agreed. But FDs are bad in the sense if you are putting all your money only in FDs for the purpose of investment. That times have gone when fixed deposits used to give you a rate of interest of 9%, 8%. Now they just give you 5.75% to 6% max. The inflation is only 6%. You are earning zero. So do not take FDs for the purpose of investments. For the purpose of investments, you should invest in stock market and keep the FDs separate. But why I have mentioned here that FDs are not always bad. Fixed deposits are not always bad if you're using the fixed deposits or putting the money, because I won't call it investing like when I use the term fixed deposits. A large number of people call it synonymously, investing in stock market, investing in FDs, but it is not so. For the sake of simplicity, people call it, but someone who is financially literate, be it any field, will take it as a clear demarcation between the two. Stock market is for the purpose of investing and FDs is only for the purpose of emergency funds. Why? Because there is no guarantee that stock market will always rise. See, over the long term, it is like guarantee that the stock market would rise. But in the short term, if it falls and we need some urgent money, we'll get from the fixed deposits, right? So that was all for today. I'll see you in the next session. Thank you so much.